Autumn is upon us, and we are swapping out our summer wardrobes and getting ready for those fall holidays, for that pumpkin spice vibe that everyone is really excited about. And I wanted to spend some time to talk a little bit about the fall trends, the fall fashion trends. I know this is very different than what I normally talk about, but I have had a lot of viewers, a lot of subscribers who have loved the capsule wardrobe and the modest dressing content. And I took a little bit of a departure from that for two reasons, which I'll get into in this video. But I thought it was important for us to talk a little bit about what is trending, because it may be influencing you as you start to shop for new pieces this year. You may notice trends in stores from Walmart to Zara, wherever it is that you go to shop. And I thought it would be good for us to view it from a Catholic perspective, from a modest perspective. If you're interested in more videos like this and you want more commentary, please leave me a comment letting me know that you enjoyed this style of video, and I can definitely share some more fashion commentary as it relates to our faith and our calling as Catholic wives and mothers. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm Ina Cecilia with The Little Way. I strive to encourage women, especially Catholic wives and mothers, in little ways, just as Saint Teresa of Lisieux did. She said, we can serve God in the little things we do. We don't have to do these extravagant things. We may not be able to go on these mission trips where we are converting lots of people to Christianity, to Catholicism, but we can serve God by being good stewards of our current resources, like that old pot and pan that you have in your kitchen that you're dying to replace, or taking your children to the park, going to daily mass, all sorts of things that you can do. So if you're into that, please like this video, subscribe for more content. And if you're just here for encouragement, for a smile, to see a different perspective, maybe God is tugging on your heart because you are looking to dress more modestly, or you are looking to apply your faith in a more practical, everyday way. You're finding that you aren't as drawn to some of the ways that you have been dressing before. This is the perfect channel for you. So we're going to explore a little bit of that today. Now, there are a few reasons why I have taken a little break from posting modest content or content about dressing and wardrobe inspiration. One is a very obvious. I am expecting a baby any day now. And quite frankly, I have still dressed the way I normally do, but it hasn't been a priority for me to share comments about it because I am just trying to get through the day to day. I'm trying to meal prep. I am trying to keep working as long as I can. It has been a challenge to post videos, so I have paused on that. Plus, my space where I normally film some of those outfits, my husband has been renovating, so I have just seen it as a sign that I need to pause on that altogether. The other reason that I have paused on that is I like to take a frugal approach. I love thrifting, and until I did do a free 3-day challenge where we unpacked thrifting and what I look for, and if you're interested in me presenting that again, please let me know, leave me a comment, and I will put that together again for you. I will relaunch it. But I'm not in the business of getting people to constantly buy new things. Instead, I think it's important that we, number one, appreciate what we already have and make do with it. So if it means maybe you're like me, you had like a lower cut dress and now you would learn how to sew a little panel or start wearing shirts that have higher necklines or lower hems. Maybe that's where you are in your life. Or you just need a little guidance on what you think will look good on you. You see that there are these cottagecore dresses that it looks so flattering on women, but you don't know how to describe to eBay or Amazon what that detail is that you're looking for. And you realize after going down a rabbit hole, it's not that I need someone to give me a link to a dress. It's that I need to know that I like sheared fabric or shirred fabric, which is where it's like stretchy right here. Or I like balloon sleeves. So there are elements of dress that you want to learn to get better at identifying. You don't want just someone to push every possible brand or product to you and you have to keep up with that. So because that is more in line of my thinking, I want to teach women how to understand and identify what clothing they like to wear. I didn't want to keep showing all sorts of different wardrobe because I just wasn't buying a bunch of new things. And I didn't have links to send you. I didn't have places to say, if you want this exact look, buy it here. All I could say is, this is my experience. This is what I like to wear, what feels good. This is why I feel like this is showing my dignity and serving the Lord. And I'm not always shopping for these things. I just have learned to curate the closet that I want and say no to things that I don't want, that are not serving that purpose. However, I know there are still women who are saying, well, I have saved this amount of money. I want to replace a few pieces. I am interested in just seeing what's out there. And there is another very valuable takeaway from observing current trends is we can see what the world is pushing out. We can see, are we headed in a good direction or are we headed totally away from the Lord? Are we seeing trends that are leading to immorality? Are we seeing trends that are not timeless? Therefore, they are adding to overconsumption. They are causing more of a greed and a gluttony because we want just whatever is in, and in 6 months, those are not going to be appealing to us anymore. So it's good to have our eyes open to see how we can pray for our brothers and sisters and how we can strengthen that muscle of self-control in us when we're able to look at trends and say, you know what, I saw this appear 5 years ago and then it was in and out, on to the next thing. And that is not the kind of life I want to live, where I am consuming in that way. Or perhaps you'll look at trends now and say, thank goodness this came back and this needs to stay in my closet. And this is so affirming for me to know that this is something that will always look classy and beautiful. And it's either just a matter of time before it's in again and I'm hip again, or I loved it then, I loved it when it wasn't in, and I love it now when it's back in. So it's okay that I just keep loving it, which is usually the case. All right, I'm rambling way too much about the why, but I thought that was important that we lay that foundation, especially if you're new here. So let's get into it. I looked up an article at random, and one was from Marie Claire, and I'm going to start by saying I really enjoyed reading it. And it was 5 trends for 2025. And already the first image got my attention for mostly good, but I did have some feedback about some of the different ways that this particular trend or theme was styled that may be what we want to avoid as Christian women. The first trend is a play on words, of course, and it's see la vie or say la vie, however you want to say it. And it is a more nautical look. Now, right off the bat, I'm going to tell you, this is probably going to be something every single year. There may be unique elements about it. For example, I have seen for at least a year now, so it must be continuing to go, these fishnet shoes. But there is more of a fishnet element that could go overboard that is definitely not modest. I say avoid that fishnet look altogether on skin. I would probably just stick to the ballet flat if you do think that's cute, but I think the nautical / French inspired stripes, the basic black and white or navy and white stripes is always going to be in. I 1000% support that. I think once we start getting into the blues that maybe that's the trend, the colors that we're starting to see. It is hit or miss. Of course, I love the nod to Our Lady wearing more blue, but if it just doesn't go with your skin tone where you feel good in it, don't buy it. Just like this is another reason that I have avoided going down the rabbit hole when it comes to color and am I warm or am I cool? Getting my colors done where you evaluate which tones look best on you, because I know that there are going to be colors that other people will think look good on me, and that makes me feel good. But there are also going to be colors that I really don't care what anyone says, and I love the piece. I love how it fits. I love that I can nurse in it. I love that it's comfortable. I love that it has natural fibers. I love that I got it for free or someone special gave it to me, like my husband. And so I don't care what anyone thinks or whether or not it fits into, my color palette if I just enjoy wearing it. So I think that this nautical say lovey, see lovey look can be done modestly. I see elements that are timeless where, again, they're just tying in a catchy name, and that's fine. But you probably already have pieces to play around with in your wardrobe. And here's another secret. No one is really going to notice that you are wearing see la vie trend that Marie Claire was talking about. They're just going to think that you wore a regular, boat neck shirt with stripes and that they've seen you wear it a million times. So, I think it's great, but I wouldn't go overboard with acquiring brand new pieces, and there's plenty you can get thrifted because this is not new. Okay, the next one I had to read, it is Slice of Lifestyle, and I love this so much. The reality is that most people are back to their office routines. Well, that I don't 100% love, but reality dressing is here for 2025. We're done with the rabid cores and voracious consumption of clothes to show off on the internet for clout. And what does this style of dressing mean? Softer fabrics, relaxed silhouettes, and a redefinition of sexiness. And it's no longer about squeezing ourselves into outfits just to look a certain way. It's about what is practical. So as you know, this is definitely up my alley. I'm seeing a lot of coverage here with trench coats and women just staying covered up. They are just wearing basic studs, basic classic black shoes. And I think there is nothing boring about that. I think it's wonderful that we're embracing that, and I give that a 10 for 10. I think my biggest piece of advice, though, is it looks like some of the examples that are being shown are on the more masculine side, the more corporate look. That is not something that I'm into. I used to dress like that, but I think if we're looking for Marian modesty and a more Christian approach, and you do wear skirts and dresses, you can still dress like this without necessarily having to wear the black trousers and the, as I said, the more androgynous, masculine showing up to a 9-to-5 workplace attire. I think it won't surprise anyone that this next trend for fall 2025 is a slam dunk, in my opinion. It is a Boho 2.0. So I don't really know what the 2.0 means exactly. I think it's just a way to get us to once again think that this is something new that we need to be shopping for, and that there are going to be pieces that whatever boho you had before, your bohemian look, and so I'll get into that if you're not too familiar with that term, you need this new piece that actually makes it look not so 10 years ago or not so 5 years ago. I don't believe in any of that. I think that the boho look, the bohemian look with the ruffles, it's very feminine. The prints like paisleys and these florals, especially, I think you all know I love micro florals. So there's little teeny tiny flower prints, and they're great at hiding stains. Pro tip, if you are a mom of littles, I don't care if you have 1 child or 10, I think every mom can appreciate being able to hide stains from applesauce and you name it. So that look is always going to be in. Now, there are some variations, just like with anything else, that have short shorts or the cleavage is much lower than I would gravitate toward. So I think it's just a matter of making sure that you are still wearing things that are pleasing to the Lord. You can still look very feminine and stylish in this look, but you don't have to be bearing it all and showing a bunch of skin. So I think it's great. I mean, I'm seeing really pretty florally things. I'm seeing cognac boots, cognac colored boots that look very practical that go with this vibe. So if you are into it, as I mentioned with the other trends, you can go to a thrift shop and probably find something that will match this. I don't think anyone will notice and say, hey, you are totally hitting the nail on the head with this season's fashion. I don't think any of those conversations are going to happen. I think if it's just validation for you that you are wearing something that you're going to see other people wearing, or if you wanted to freshen up a look, then those are going to be available to you. But I don't think it's anything particularly mind-blowing or revolutionary that we are seeing, and that is a great thing. All right, the next one kind of made me laugh. It was meaningful minimalism. So the reason I find some of these articles humorous or these phrases is it's like we're saying the same thing over and over again, but we're trying to give it a new brand, or we're trying to make it sound like it's brand new, but it's not. To me, meaningful minimalism just means simplicity, practical, not overly gaudy, not overly showy, plain fabrics, no prints on them that everyone has in their closet. So some of the trends might show details that are newer. Like I'm seeing here, which I don't think we should ever bring back, but that's just my opinion. Sorry if you don't agree, but there's these cargo pants. I think those are not flattering at all. And as you know, I don't think that those are feminine, but there's chunky loafers, which are really cute. And I'm seeing these denim or chambray skirts. I'm seeing white skirts, very practical looking jackets that you can wear for 10, 20, 30 years if you get a good quality. So I don't see this as anything noteworthy. I think it's important for us to laugh about it because it just goes to show that if you pray for the wisdom to resist consuming what media and what the industry tells you, you have everything you need. You probably have those clothes in your closet already, and you have Christ. This one kind of confused me with the name. I had to read more closely. Power Rewired. So in this, we see Gen Zers who are trying to mix different styles for the workplace. So you have classic styles with grungy styles. That's where you're wearing office trousers to work with a cropped button shirt and these why am I forgetting the name of these boots? But these grungy boots. Oh, why am I blanking? This is Prego brain. Can someone please remind me what these boots are called? I'm gonna go crazy. But the platform boots. Doc Martens. There we go. I feel better. So I think this is cool looking. I think 10 years ago, when I was on a different journey, I definitely would have really loved this. I do like to mix and match styles. I think it makes it look unique, and it's kind of fun to express yourself in that way. But I think that it's important for us to remember, how can we still glorify God with these? Can you mix and match? Can you add some of these more grungy, chunky, fun elements without losing your femininity? So I can't help but think, because I'm seeing blazers, I'm seeing shorts, and I'm not really into that. I have these pieces. I could see how they're paired together. I don't know if I would follow this trend as closely. I'm just not into this in this season of life, and I don't know if I would promote it. But I mean, it's okay. It's definitely not, this is not the worst we've seen. So I'm just kind of somewhere in the middle with this one. If you like it, you like it. If you don't, you don't. And so no strong opinion about this one. I'm starting to feel like there's more than 5. I might have said at the beginning of the video that there's 5, but that's okay. This one I can't help but really, really like. It is good, bad taste. What am I gathering from it? A lot of mixing and matching prints. I think you know that I love doing that. I love stepping outside of the box. I think there is a way to make it cute. Now, what I don't love about this is I am seeing, again, a lot of skin showing that is not for me. But here is one big thing I enjoy about this. If, number one, you've been wanting to experiment and you want to try mixing and matching prints, you already have pieces that you did not think go together in your closet. So go get those. And I think they just look fun. I feel like God created our world to be bright and beautiful, and there's so much color that it's sort of a reflection of God's creation. I can't help but think that. I know that probably sounds cheesy, but we're seeing a lot of animal prints mixed with florals, with polka dots, and I am all for that. I think just keeping, again, color lines. I like them nice and high. I like long sleeves. I like maxi skirts, maxi dresses. Feel free to mix and match all those and just have fun. And this is where you could kind of pull the, well, it's in the Marie Claire 2025 fall trend thing, but then you don't have to buy anything, but you're trendy. So you have that response prepared if anyone says you look really weird or you're dressing really differently. It's like, just have fun with it, enjoy it, turn it into a prayer. Thank God I have the freedom and the resources to dress and express myself in a way that is lighthearted and I can smile about it and do baby steps. Just wear it once to the grocery store and then you can do it another time. The next category is called Let's Move, and it is athleisure, athletic wear. I am not a fan of this because I think it has been, number one, a free pass for people to dress so casually where they do not care. They do not honor their dignity in a way that I think is the way God intended. It is, quite frankly, and I know there are gonna be people who may want to come at me in the comments, but it's lazy, it's slovenly, it does not look feminine, and it doesn't look beautiful. So I'm all about comfort, but I think you don't have to compromise your femininity and your beauty for comfort. So there's certain things I'm torn. I like shoes that look comfortable. I am okay with athletic shoes with like a feminine dress. I think that juxtaposition is fun, but not the sweatpants and not the leggings, things that are too tight, showing way too much skin. I'm just not into that. I think we really need to challenge ourselves to get away from that. So I would not promote this. I think, yes, we do have this in our closet, but I would not, I don't know. I'm not that into it. So I won't be promoting this or talking too much about this. Okay, the last one is childlike comfort, which I find interesting. It says it's referencing Y2K trends, so there's certain cute things like jelly sandals and jewelry, but I think it's important, and I know some of you might think this is a stretch. We want to be careful about the obsession or getting a little too comfortable with adults taking on childlike interests, childish interests, if you will, like teddy bears, teddy bear purses, or pigtails, things that we're in a world where the pea industry is continuing to push out and normalize behavior with children. I'm trying to be careful with what I say. And so I don't know why I have this natural inclination to think that this is part of the problem, is a nod to dressing adults like children. And that's why there is that fixation. There continues to be that poison in our society. So I don't love it. I also don't love that we're in a society where adults already have a hard time taking responsibility and acting like adults and not like children. So anything that kind of seems like that makes me wary. As I said, I know it's a stretch, but I think it's important for us to keep that in mind because the devil is clever and he is going to find ways that seem innocent, that seem harmless, but they start to infiltrate and trickle into our morality, into our goodness, our consciences, and we always have to be vigilant. So it could be harmless, but I think it's important for us to be aware that it could be sending these signals or supporting that. I mean, we saw it in, what was it, Balenciaga a few years ago with, high-powered families, and it's just everywhere. So I say be alert, pray about it, and if you enjoy a little taste of it, fine, but I don't want anyone caught off guard or not thinking about these things. That wraps up this video. I hope you enjoyed a different style of video that I shared today. If you, as I mentioned, want more content like this where we talk about modest dressing or current fashion as it relates to our faith, leave me a comment. Let me know that you enjoyed that. And thank you again for your prayers as we get ready for this baby. We are so excited. Once we have this baby, I will share more about that. And yes, thank you for being here. God bless.